It's now my great honor to introduce Lateefah Simon, today's commencement speaker. Lateefah is a nationally recognized civil rights and racial justice advocate who now serves as president of the Akonadi Foundation, an Oakland-based organization dedicated to eliminating structural racism in society by providing grants to support racial justice movements. In 2016, Simon was elected to serve District 7 on the BART Board of Directors and was appointed by the Governor of California to the California State University Board of Trustees. We need to move her towards a different board, but we'll have that conversation later. Simon is a champion of juvenile and criminal justice reform, particularly for low-income women and girls. At just 19, she was named executive director of the Center for Young Women's Development in San Francisco, with encouragement from then San Francisco District Attorney Kamala Harris, now a U.S. Senator. Simon led the creation of the first reentry program in the city district attorney's office to help people convicted of nonviolent, first-time, low-level drug offenses get jobs, enroll in school, and improve their lives. Since committing herself to civil rights and racial justice issues some 20 years ago, Simon has garnered numerous awards and accolades. She was honored with a MacArthur Fellowship when she was just 26 and won a Jefferson Award for outstanding public service. She's been named on the Chronicle of Philanthropy's 40 Under 40 list and a California Woman of the Year by the State Assembly. She's also been recognized by the Ford Foundation, the National Organization for Women, Lifetime Television, and O Magazine. Lateefah began as a student at Mills in 2005, and upon nearing completion of her degree, had to step away due to family reasons, having now completed all of her coursework. Today, she's not only our commencement speaker, she's a member of the class of 2017. An inspiration, a national leader, and a graduate of Mills College, Lateefah Simon.
A cyclone is a wind or a collection of winds that move below the atmospheric level at 20 to 30 miles per hour. We are cyclones. We are a collection of winds that are forceful and that can never be stopped. I am here today unworthy of this great and amazing privilege. So in preparation, I kind of had to figure out how to get myself together and realize there are three ideas that I want to share with you today. But before I do that, I need to say that I am home. And I want to thank our amazing Board of Trustees. I want to thank our president for asking me to be here with you today. But I want to say special thank you to our faculty. I owe about 10 of them papers right now. They laugh because it is actually true. So this faculty is made up of some of the most fierce minds, spirits, and souls in all of justice. If you have taken a class at Mills, you understand not only the rigor and the passion, but how hard they make you work. I ran for election in 19 cities, 3 counties, and won by 20 points in each of those cities against a sitting incumbent. And I tell you, that was easier than passing a policy class at Mills College. And for the faculty who feel sometimes maybe unappreciated, know that you give us language and lexicon for what is outside of these gates. When I came here still feeling unworthy, and Daphne Muse whispers in my ear, "You belong here." When Bruce Williams told me, "Girl, you spending too much money. You better turn in those assignments." When Carol Chekovich told me, "Get it together and stand in your power." When I dropped out because I had work to do. Before I will ever be an academic, I will be a warrior and a revolutionary, and I care what's happening on our streets and in our prisons and in our jails. It was Dean Julia who said, "Get back here right now." Folks like Dr. Quist, who held my hand after my beautiful, amazing husband was rendered a terminal diagnosis. And when he died, Mills women and faculty showed up hand over fist the day of Kevin's funeral, a renowned revolutionary Black journalist. When I came out of the building to greet guests, it was Mills women there first. So understand, this faculty, these staff, the men and women who will fold and clean up this field when we leave, they are your community, your family. And to the parents who don't understand why you paid so much money for them to be here, I want to remind you that a gendered education is critical in these times, because until the federal government releases its holds off of my uterus, until the state decides that human rights are an inalienable birthright for queer and trans sisters and brothers, until children outside of these gates, these babies, receive the dignified, beautiful, and pristine education that we did, we need a women's college in Oakland, California. I want to acknowledge the faculty and staff. I thank you for your tireless work and for dealing with folks like me who can't sit down enough to take time to do them. So in acknowledging these good people who've dedicated their life to creating new nomenclature of justice, I think it's important for us to also reflect, like really reflect. Mills women, cyclones, and the few brothers that joined the graduate program, I see you too. Those crazy long nights in Mary Atkins and the Mother's Lounge, and seeing women nursing their babies while creating PowerPoints, seeing disabled students try to get up the hill, young women bartering money for dinner, or the youngsters getting on the M shuttle to go to Berkeley. I know. Our time here is complicated. It's complicated. Trying to sit down and do you. I did everything backwards. I have a 21-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old. I am a widow. But the redemptive qualities of a women's college understands all of who we are. Reflect on your time here when you absolutely wanted to walk out of those gates. Reflect on those times where you wanted to sit court with all of your homegirls in front of the M Center. and shut it down. Reflect on the grace and the power and the new language that you now hold, my sisters. Reflect and understand those moments that you, unlike me, who sat down and committed yourself to excellence. It's the right thing to do. And there is no money in the world that can take place of what you've received. Because what I know about a Mills education and a Mills community, it will never leave you. I often run the lake, and I'll see women in their 70s and 80s with Mills sweatshirts on, and I say, hello! The force of women with knowledge, of our male counterparts with knowledge, not only didactic knowledge, but a knowledge of freedom, a pedagogy of what justice can look like in action, is critical as we fight a republic that is moving directly opposite of our interests. Yes, I said it. And acknowledging the people who've helped us, who've loved on us, and reflecting on our complicated and joyous, beautiful time here. I think it's important that we celebrate. I think it's important that we step back and grind in your Doc Martens or your high heels. And celebrate something so tangible that can never be taken away from you. Never be taken away from you. I don't believe it's just the paper. It's the process. It's the deep entrenched community. It's the words in your ear that you've heard from professors that will never go away, like they never go away. I remember sitting in sociology of education and saying, there's a word for this? Stratification, there's a word for this thing that feels like a boot on the neck of children who the state refuses to feed. There's a word for this? There is a structure that no matter how hard we fight has been intact for longer than we have lived, and it's going to require more than a bullhorn to tear it down? Okay. All right. Let's celebrate the most difficult thing that you have done to get to this moment. The most difficult thing that you have done to be here today. I have heard the stories, and they are inspiring and heartbreaking. Sit and dig your heels and celebrate. We are not only cyclones, we are the prayers of our grandmothers. For every step that we take, not up, justice isn't about a ladder. Equality is not about ascension. Every step you take, the responsibility in what you celebrate today is greater than you may ever know. The grandmothers, the aunts, the uncles, the children who sleep under beds right now, afraid of la migra. Your responsibility as artists is to create and to use culture as a weapon of power and liberation. Your responsibility as scientists is to heal even when there is no insurance. Your responsibility as theorists is to write the stories of our grandmothers, the social and economic and political and historical pathways of which you have come. Your responsibility is to give grace to those who have less now privilege than you, because this is privilege. You have it. Own it. And not only be of service, be a blessing, and be a physical manifestation of what a cyclone can be in human force. You sit at the table, at the head, you take your space, and you realize when those moments get dark, as I did, losing my father, losing my husband within 1 year, and getting a cancer diagnosis, and winning, that as a single mother, I always have hood right here on this meadow. I will always be a student of the Mills community. Class of 2017, look around you and thank these people for seeing you through. I end now in saying, who let the dogs out? But how far we've come is truly only the beginning. You have to put your oxygen mask on first. Don't be like me. The movement will be out there. You and your skill attainment and your care for self are really critical for us moving in this long marathon for freedom in this country. I thank the faculty. I thank the Board of Trustees. I thank the family that has traveled long ways. I thank these babies who've been in class with their mothers, the daycare providers who figured it out. I thank you for creating another class of warriors. Thank you very much.
She's yours, class of 2017. She's yours.